is for the Lord's Prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our
Father,
which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, item 1.3, notice of the meeting guidelines. Citizen input is vital to the improvement of our school district. Most times your remarks may be listened to without comment from the board members or the superintendent. This does not mean it is listened to with any less intensity or concern. Where appropriate, the school board, superintendent, and staff will investigate your comments and report to you with an answer. We thank you for taking the time and having concern to make our district better. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Item 2.1, approval of the minutes of the Glades County School Board regular meeting, December 16th, 2021 at 9 a.m.
So moved. A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Amendments to the agenda. And we have 7.1 through 7.9. Take a motion to add the amendments.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 4, public comment on agenda items, and it looks like we have Ms. Susie Woodward to speak on item 6.6. You can come to the podium.
I would like to wait until we get to that item
Okay,
during the discussion.
is that appropriate, Mr. McMillan? Okay,
I actually would like to pull 6.6. I just received information, and I feel at this time I'm not ready to move on this, so I'd like for us to pull it and for later discussion.
Consent agenda 5.1, approve Annabelle Ochoa to be an extended substitute for, oh, excuse me, this is consent agenda. Does anybody have anything they'd like to pull? And I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. A second.
All in favor? Any?
Aye.
Aye.
That's okay. You have your computer.
Okay, 6.1, approve travel expenses to FAS, FEPA, ETAC 21-22 Spring Forum, February 2022.
I move to approve the travel expenses to the FASFIPA ETAC Spring Forum.
I second.
Any questions?
Yes. I've never seen this on any of my agendas. Who's going and?
What is this and who's going? That's my question.
Exactly.
Right.
This is where Janet Harris used to go, so
Yes,
I'm
this
thinking it's
is-
Mr.
this is-
Brightfield and Mr.
Mr.
Brightfield.
Brightfield.
That's the only reason I knew how to say it, because I've been to it.
Okay. Well, tell us what it is.
It's very important. It's the grant overviews
Okay.
on how to do your paperwork and what's new, and is my understanding. Is he here?
Yes.
Sure, oh, there he is. I'm sure he knows more than I do about it.
Yes, ma'am, you're spot on. We're gonna be going over all of the federal programs, which I'm gonna talk about here in a few minutes. I'm not gonna get into all that right this moment. But we're gonna talk about all of what's coming up, what the changes are gonna be in the applications, so that we can start getting ready, because these grants are gonna be coming out usually sometime starting in late March through May. So getting all the information, and every district will have representatives there, because that's how we get the information, so that we can turn around and write the grants and hopefully get them approved the first time.
Who will be attending with you?
I don't believe anybody else is.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 6.2, approval of travel expenses to FSBA 35th Annual Day in the Legislature, February 2022.
So moved.
I'll second, and I do have a comment about that. As the legislative liaison, I contacted Representative Tuck and Senator Albritton, and I'm trying to set up our meetings for February 3rd, at 11 or after. So I know last time we went, we forgot to do that. So I wanted to make sure that we remembered, and I am working on that. But I haven't heard back. I've texted both and emailed both, so.
It's holidays, okay, Joe.
As a representative, can you, if I give you dates, our safety patrol has decided not to go on the Washington trip. Right now, there's too much with vaccinations and closing downs of monuments and different things. So they're gonna do a in Florida trip, and one of them are gonna go to Tallahassee. If we could possibly, get them to meet with our representative or something, is that something you would set up, Crystal, or who
I'll
do you?
try, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Just, can you get me some dates?
I will.
They're probably not gonna be in Tallahassee at the time of their trip, gonna be at the end of the school year.
It's gonna be, I believe, in April.
You know, they'll, cause it's an early session, so they'll probably be back home, but who knows, we'll try, yeah.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
6.3, approval of travel expenses to FASA Advocate, January 2022.
So moved.
Second. Okay, I have the question, I don't know what that one is. Is that the
That's it, that's what I was
superintendent's?
It's got her name under it, so.
Okay, okay.
Any other questions?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
6.4, approval of travel expenses for Innovate, Elevate, Transform Florida Conference, 2022, February 2022.
This is for our, Glades County School District as a whole has never been an accredited district. We typically, I know the high school has been through accreditation, Moorhaven Elementary has been through accreditation. West Glades has never been accredited, so, this year, well, actually, Moorhaven High School is up for accreditation last year, but because of COVID, I asked, and I'm brand new to office, I asked if we could delay it for a year. The wonderful SACS committee team member was Dr. Daly, and we didn't know what a year was going to bring, but anyway, he signed off on it, and now it's time again, but it's also going to be a time for Moorhaven Elementary in a year. So I said we need to be accredited as a full district, and so if we're going to do so, it basically our entire district would be on the same time schedule. It's beneficial for our district to be, because if West Glades isn't accredited, Moorhaven Elementary is. It just is more equitable if everyone is on the same page.
There's not a negative impact of that on our graduating seniors or?
No, ma'am.
So who is going to this?
Mr. Bigger, Dr. Daly, Miss Sabella, and Miss Mel. Because what they're doing there is they'll begin the the paperwork and the foundation, because you have to put together basically a portfolio, and it's different than when, like the old days when we went through accreditation. It's the district, they'll look at everything from district procedures all the way down to the schools. So if one doesn't get it, we all don't get it.
Any other questions? Well, first of all, I need a motion.
Thank you.
I caught myself.
So moved.
Second.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
6.5, approval of travel expenses to the 2022 Institute for Administrative Assistant Secretaries to the Superintendent and/or School Boards, February 2022. And this is for Jackie.
And Jackie will be,
You'll be attending?
okay, you'll be the only one attending this?
Yes, ma'am, I'm the only one. Yes, ma'am.
I need a motion?
So moved.
I second.
My question out of order, didn't
Yeah, that's
Yes.
okay. So any other questions?
So who's sponsoring this? I don't know that we've ever sent anybody to this that I'm aware of.
Renee Wallace from the Florida Superintendents Association. They've been doing it for several years, but we didn't, of course, last year.
Yeah.
In fact, I think they canceled it last year, but they do a lot of policies. It's a good training, and they highly recommended it.
How many days you be going, Jackie?
Just, yeah, travel day.
Do they do board docs and stuff like that?
Full 3 days worth of, yes ma'am.
Mhm.
That's good. Not that you haven't got a good handle on it, I'm not saying that.
Listen, I'll take all the training I
No,
can.
but she can learn some new things,
Yeah.
so.
Did you want to go? Yeah, let me go.
Okay, I think we did motion and second, didn't we?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And 6.6 was pulled from the agenda. 7.1, presentation of grants.
Good evening.
What would we do without Fred?
Oh, here comes. Fred, you should get her first. Oh, first.
I've only planned 25 to 30 minutes. to go over this, so hopefully that'll be sufficient.
We appreciate it.
You've used 2 minutes already.
Do whatever you gotta do.
Okay, let me get started. This has been an interesting time for federal projects and federal grants. I was involved with ERA back in 2009, 2010, 2011, under President Obama when we had the big stimulus funding. This is like what we had back then, but it's on steroids. It's much more intense, much faster. And I'll explain a little more about that as we get into it. These are your federal programs, the ones you have up there. These are the ones we usually get year after year after year. Okay? So when we go to FAFSA, these are definitely going to be the ones we look at. Now there will also be some other information going along with some of the grants we'll get to in a little bit. Okay. Let's start off with Title I. Title I allocation was $424,213, which seems like a pretty good chunk of money. I want you to notice what we're funding there. We're funding a lot of salary, reading resource teachers and benefits, paras, pre-K, para reading coach. And I apologize, the formatting went off here. I don't know what happened.
It was good.
When we transferred it. But I want you to notice where it says subtotal is $437,443. That is more than our allocation. If we didn't have roll forward money, we would be upside down in Title I. So I just want to make aware, because some people think that Title I is kind of an unlimited pool of money that we can spend here or there. No, we can't. We've effectively had it tied up. This is a drop of $60,000 from last year for the county. We'll find out next month, hopefully, what we're looking at for an allocation, and we can start making some wise decisions on how we're going to use these dollars. I put these two together because they are combined to do one very important thing. The biggest chunk out of Title I-C, which is our migrant, and Title III is our ELL, is paying for Ms. Mayorga. She does an amazing job with our migrant families, getting the kids here to school, and this is how we fund her. Most of Title I-C, as you can see, almost 9/10 of it goes for her salary and benefits. So there's only a little over $4,000 left for other things. In the ELL learners, we use a little bit of those funds to to pay for Ms. Mayorga. We also have Burlington English, which is an online program for students who are learning English as a second language. Title II, designated for supporting effective instruction. And these are the big ones. We paid for people to go in the summer to the BEST mathematics standards, and we're looking to send more this summer. Because we know instead of just 3 seminars, they're looking at having as many as 8 throughout the state. Because they want to get more people in there, more teachers in there to dig into the mathematics standards and be able to apply them to their classes. Beacon, this is something that we're hoping to have up and running very, very soon. This is going to be a lifesaver for many. Through Beacon, teachers and administrators are going to be able to get literally as many professional development points as they want. I know I did this past summer. I took 3 20-hour Beacon courses in order to get my certification points. They were awesome. No, they didn't take the full 20 hours each, but I learned a lot. And what we're going to be able to do is, as a district, we'll enroll teachers in this, and then they take the courses at their pace, and Beacon awards the professional development. Beacon is in Bay County. It's somehow they're affiliated with Bay County schools. So it's not like we're dealing with some national company here. This I do believe is in the state. Title IV, Student Support and Academic Enrichment. This is designed literally to put money into places you don't normally put it from federal dollars. This year we're looking at really boosting the new nursing program, putting money into equipment for them. Document cameras, we want to get document cameras in every classroom. I know there are some classrooms that did not have it, and I heard from several teachers that it made remote teaching difficult. So should we ever have to go back to that again, having this technology in there will allow teachers to be more effective teaching remotely. And then some PE equipment. That's one thing that often gets overlooked. So we're putting PE equipment in the schools. I think I've got 2 already, and I think I got a 3rd to go. And I'm asking the schools to let me know what they think they need, and then I'll fit it into the grant. Title V is Rural and Low Income Schools. We bought Achieving 3000 software to incorporate with our intensive reading at the high school. We're going to do STEM summer camp this summer. Still putting some details together because I'm looking for a model that we can bring in here. I don't want to try and recreate the wheel. I want to find, and I know they're out there, schools that are doing these STEM camps. Bring that program here and let's put it on for our kids. And then the nursing ad, that was just a little bit of money we're putting into some small pieces in each program. Title IX, Kenny Bento, we get no dollars. However, we are required to serve homeless through Title I. We're not eligible for homeless because, to the best of the state's knowledge, we do not have a facility for homeless students, homeless kids in Glades County. That's what they keep telling me. We don't have the right facility or any facility at all. And forgive me, I could not argue with them because I don't live in Glades County and I don't know for sure. So I was going on what they told me. It wouldn't have mattered for this year anyway, because these applications were done in the spring. But should it be anything available in this spring for next year, we'll definitely be applying for it. We don't. Yes, ma'am.
So I would suggest you check with United Way, because they do serve our county and they do provide shelter for runaways and things like that.
In Glades County?
Yes, for
Okay.
Glades. I don't know if the facility is in Glades,
It's
but
gotta
they
be.
serve Glades.
That's got to be.
Then we tell them they need a facility in Glades,
And at one
because we give them a lot of money.
I agree, and
So
we should have one.
we need one. We have a lot of homeless kids here.
That's something
And at
probably-
one time, we had a foster home here. Does that qualify, if a family takes foster children? Does
I
that?
don't think so, because that's not going to be considered a government facility. That's going to be considered a home.
Okay.
This literally needs to be something that is run by a governmental agency specifically for homeless students. Okay, CTE, Career and Tech Ed. This is an exciting one for a lot of reasons, of course, iTech being a big one. We have in CTE 2 grants. One is a Rural Initiative Grant, which we got for the first time this year. And we got our annual Perkins grant, which was only $20,000. The big thing we're doing is getting a tractor for ag. They are in desperate need of one, not only to be able to do what an ag program and an FFA program need to do, but these kids have the opportunity to compete on a tractor in FFA contests, and that's an amazing opportunity for our kids to get out there, meet other kids from other schools, find out what they're doing, and at the same time have a good time and test their skills. And hopefully we can eventually get these kids progressing from sub-district to district and on to the state. I think that'd be a great thing for our kids to be able to do. Okay, now on to the other ones. CARES, you probably heard of this one. This one was the first stimulus. It's essentially been run down. The grants up there started out around $480,000, if I remember right. And we now only have a little over $68,000 left. So we're going to be amending and spending that money. I do know that the CTE and the reading curriculum, those two grants, I need to verify with Tallahassee if those are the actual numbers. Then ESSER 2. This one popped out starting early summer, I believe. It's been a while. These are the 5 components. There were 5 different pieces that we had to write. The advanced lump sum was simple, just send in an application, you got that money. The other 4 we had to come up with detailed applications for. Those were projected over the remainder of this school year and next year because we have until September of 23 to liquidate. So all of those funds are for the next year and a half.
And we have received those funds?
ESSER 2, yes. So if you'll go scroll down a little bit, I put a few highlights up here. Attendance officer, replacing aging Chromebooks. That's a big one if we're going to continue the one-to-one initiative. Imagine Learning for, I believe that was our our ELL students. Just making sure I got it right. STEM camp, this was a mistake on my part. I put it in 2 different grants. I will be amending it and going and fixing that.
Different figures too.
Huh?
Different figures.
Yes, because in one I calculated some hardware and one I did not.
Okay.
Stipends for PD, so we can pay our teachers for coming in after school and on weekends for professional development. The HVAC, West Glades HVAC replacement, 165, that's italicized, but we'll come back to it in a minute. Going back up for a second, there we go. The purchase plan periods, let me explain what this is. With ESSER, we are allowed to violate the federal grants policy of supplement, don't supplant. We are allowed to supplant, which means we can take things that we have spent money on out of the general fund. If it was for COVID, we can reimburse ourselves out of this grant. Now, you have to tie everything to COVID, so it's not easy. But the purchase planning periods, we've already paid for those for teachers out of the general fund. We can now take that out of ESSER and get back to the district.
That one single figure. The
Give me time.
155?
Give me time.
Okay,
I got more.
okay.
Thank you. These were 3 additional grants that came down in December and were due in December. So that was kind of a surprise. We've got a dual enrollment assistance. I've got a meeting on that next week because most people don't know how to spend that money yet. Civics curriculum, we've got $6,000 and you have to buy civics curriculum according to the new standards. We have a K-3 reading tutoring grant. On all 3 of these, we did not have to send in a full application because of the time constraints. All we had to do was say we want to do it. Now, we've got to send in the correct applications in by about March 10th, I think. So we're going to be working hard on those. ESSER 3. This one goes until 2024. This is the biggest. It's bigger than the other 2 combined. The only thing in ESSER 3 is the blue. You are required to spend 20% on academic acceleration. You can spend more, but you can't spend less. I changed the color so in the next few slides, you'll see what we've allocated for that. So the proposed ESSER 3, these are proposals because we haven't got it back yet. We don't know if it's going to be approved. If it's not approved, go back to the drawing board and fix things. Now in the blue, you see homework help, after-school tutoring, and extended summer pre-K. All of those qualify for the academic advancement. That's why they're in blue. Furniture for nursing. This you cannot pay for out of literally any other grant. You can't buy furniture, so we're gonna put it in here. Mr. Sharp gave us some stuff for ag machinery. We've got to get more hotspots if we have to go remote again. We talked about that, I believe, at the last meeting, how many kids did not have access to the internet. We really need to promote that as much as possible. But there's the West Glades HVAC. Again, we're gonna piece money out of the two grants together to give Mr. Gresseth enough money to fix that.
That, the school bus figure that you had there, that was for one?
No, two.
Two, good.
Or it'd be one real fancy one.
Well, I just wanted to know, thank you.
Penietta, we have to give 14-point-something% of these grants to Penietta. They're charged, well, that's just the way it goes. So their big one was while they were out, their roof started leaking when they shut it down.
Wow.
So they spent over $400,000 on that roof. So there's a big chunk of it back. Again, replacing aging Chromebooks. We want to make sure that we always have Chromebooks available for students that are at least usable. Once they get to 5, 6, 7 years old, most of the time they're not of any use. So we got to keep them reasonably recent. Cleaning supplies, attendance officer again. Now the last three, you see the GF there? That's because all three of those takes money out of the grant into the general fund. So we're going to be able to reimburse for the pre-K costs. We're going to reimburse for the high school planning periods again. And then the last one is indirect costs, which means if you're not familiar with it, you can take a % out of the grant, usually it's some in the single digits, to give to the district general fund for the purposes of administering this grant. You figure you've got people in purchasing who are doing the paperwork, you've got me writing grants and things along those lines. So the district gets indirect costs on almost every grant of some sort, and that goes back into the general fund. Lastly, grant season starts very soon. As I said, we'll know more about it when it hits, and that's all I've got. So, what questions can I answer?
I have a couple.
Sure.
On the ESSER 3,
Yes.
one of the items is the school cleaning supplies and floor cleaners. You and I had talked about that at our last meeting. When will those funds be available for the schools to
That's a
start
great question.
purchasing?
I would expect to hear something in the next 2 weeks, because that would be a month that they've had it. So, as soon as that gets in, I'll be getting with Mr. Gressel, we'll be getting those, machines and cleaners ordered
And you'll
ASAP.
get with each school
Oh,
and see
absolutely.
what they need, and I know the high school's already got a list put together. They may want to amend it, but they had presented a list several months ago. Okay, and then, let's see, I had one other question. I thought I did. Oh, okay. On Title I, is Moorhaven Elementary School the only Title I
No,
school?
West Glades. Moorhaven
West Glades is
yes.
also with Title I, but the high school,
No,
middle
ma'am.
high school is not, okay. That's all I had.
I'd like to ask you a question on that, because I've often wondered why our high school wasn't Title I, since, you know, the feeder school goes, it's the same kids. And I've heard different pros and cons about it. What is your perspective on what would be the reason to not have the high school apply to be a Title I school? Because we're pretty sure we'd meet it.
It would. In fact, the district could be a full Title I district. That does not mean not one more dollar. It would mean you'd be taking Title I, spreading it across 3 schools instead of 2.
And that's why we made the decision way back when, to just do the 2 schools.
Which makes sense.
Because at that time, those were the 2 in the most need.
Yeah,
But it's a discussion we can go back and have, I think, because we're compensating by taking away Title I by increasing SAI. So if we make all 3 Title I, then SAI gets spread across, so is it a balancing act? There's paperwork requirements that the high school would now
But you're saying it'd be no more money?
No,
No.
I specifically asked that question, because I was asking why the high school wasn't. Coming from Henry, which I believe is a full Title I district still, I thought, why not here? We're probably the same, if not possibly, well, about the same financial picture as far as the county goes with our student population. So I called.
Well, the
and
kids
asked.
walk right across the street, so you know if they qualify on this side, they're gonna qualify over there, you know, so.
Yeah, but
they're-
as he said, it comes down to a balancing act with money.
I just don't understand why more
We-
students
right now,
wouldn't
all
equal
three
more
schools
money.
Every year are qualified for Title I. We exempt out our high school and say we're exempting out on the basis that we are giving an alternative set of funding that equates what they would have got for Title I, so therefore it still balances out across the district.
And that's the SA
The SAI
funds, so they get that in lieu of,
in lieu of.
which they would not
Since they're
get.
getting that funding, we can say that they're still receiving as much services as the other two schools, therefore we can exempt them out.
And
It's
they
not
don't have to share that
they
money?
don't opt in, it's we exempt them out. It's kind of a weird perspective, but it's,
They don't share that, they keep that for themselves,
what's that?
the essay.
It's through the funding budgets you guys set up and stuff like that, the SII money is designated that direction
For the high school, middle high school.
to compensate for the lack of the Title I funds that they're getting.
Uh-huh.
So that's coming out of our general fund, is that what you're saying?
No.
Or that state,
SII money.
that state?
So everybody's getting something. It's all, it all evens out about the same, right?
Does paperwork for the high school.
Okay.
Yeah, I think when this decision was made, I was the principal, and I was like, that's good, I don't wanna do all that paperwork.
Yeah,
Just
because
give
it
me
is
the
a
same
pain.
amount of money, but don't make me do the paperwork.
Right.
Well, the principal is the same way, but, you know, now I'm like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
at the time, I'm not crazy about Title I paperwork, but it's a necessary.
Yeah. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
That
much.
was
Oh, you're
very,
welcome.
very informative.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Brightfield, Mr. Brightfield, can you, can you tell approximately what we're looking at right now, putting back into the general fund?
We're looking, and this assumes that ESSER 3 is approved as written, which honestly, it probably won't be because it's so big, they're gonna find a technicality and send it back, at least one. So, assuming it does go, the way it's written right now, we'd be putting approximately 1.3 million back into the general fund from our federal grants.
But that's just reimbursement, or that's new money.
Well, no matter how you look at it, the way the pre-K is set up, we're running a pre-K program that for a full 180 days. The state only funds pre-K at 540 hours total. We're right at about 1,100 and change. So out of our general fund, we would pull the rest of that money to go with the Title I money to run our pre-K. And we've been doing that. Now, because of this grant and the way it's written, we can reimburse ourselves. So we're gonna pay from the moment we get that grant forward, we're gonna pay that out of the grant, but that saves the general fund all that money. From that point back, we're gonna reimburse out of the grant all the money into the general fund.
Which we are gonna pay anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
So the reimbursement up to the date we get the award, that is a reimbursement for sure. The rest will be paying in lieu of pulling general fund dollars, so we're saving the general fund that money. Does that make sense?
And the benefits of that is general fund can be spent on things that aren't necessarily tied to COVID, whereas as it hasn't tied to COVID, we can tie
Right.
pre-K to COVID.
Absolutely.
Right.
So therefore, it's better to use the ESSER funds for it and free up general funds, which can be used for.
Right, that's good. Good news.
Okay,
Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 7.2, approve Felipe Morales Jr. as a volunteer for Moorhaven Middle High School 2022 school year.
I make a motion that we approve Felipe Morales as a volunteer for Moorhaven Middle High School.
A second. Sorry.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
7.3, approve to hire Jackie Garrett as head football coach at Moorhaven Middle High School effective January 7th, 2022.
I have a question on that. Can we
Um,
approve it?
You wanna do the motion first?
Yep.
I make a motion that we approve hiring Jackie Garrett as head football coach at Moorhaven Middle High School effective January 7th, that's tomorrow.
Second.
Okay, questions, Gloria?
What happened to Robert Wingate?
He interviewed and was not selected by the committee at the high school. We appreciate him, and he is a valued member of our community as well as our coaching staff, and will always be. Dr. Daly had a committee of himself, Steve Petty, Samantha Rhymes, Preston Baker, and I'm not sure who. I think there was four or five men on the committee, and Samantha. They took a top three. They forwarded me the names. By the time they forwarded me the names, one had backed out, and one, so it's down to two. After one interview, the one didn't interview, so Jackie was the recipient.
Okay, just what, I mean, I wanna know was Bobby okay with that, or did he?
I have not spoken to
You
him.
haven't
I'm sure
spoken to
Dr. Daly has.
Okay, I'll talk to Dr. Daly.
I will add, just as a comment, that I spoke to Steve Petty after I knew this decision was made, and he told me he was on the committee and he felt that Jackie Garrett was the best choice. So I have a lot of respect for Steve Petty and his opinions.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
I just hate that it's not someone who is a full-time teacher in our district. If we could ever get a head football coach that's a teacher and there all the time, it would be so much better.
Is this guy from here?
I'm sorry?
Is this guy from here?
Well, I think he's from Belglade. His wife is a teacher in our district, and he has a child who attends school in our district.
Okay.
So I think that, anyway, I'll vote for him based on Steve Petty's recommendation.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
7.4, approval to hire Christy Durance as Student Services Director effective January 18th, 2022.
I move to approve to hire Christy Durance as Student Services Director effective January 18th, 2022.
Second.
Questions or comments?
Okay, so my computer isn't working, and we just got this tonight, so I don't have her resume in front of me. You want to
Sure.
elaborate on her
I do.
I thought we got it.
credentials?
Hey, mine was on the
We
dice.
got it.
Oh, I'm sorry,
There's a print.
excuse
Print
me,
one. She got it.
we have a print one.
She looks really great.
Well, for everyone that's here that might be interested as well, Christy is going to be a wonderful addition to our staff. She is currently the Assistant ESC Director, maybe in Hendry County. She's their testing coordinator and MTSS. Is it on there?
Oh.
Okay. She also is over their district accountability, and she was a principal for 3 years, an assistant principal for 2 years, and she was a classroom teacher for 15 years. She comes highly recommended, and
Is this an extra one?
so I'm excited for us as a district.
And this is the position that Alicia Bell was in. That's all I had.
Where were we, Jackie?
Voting for.
We are voting.
Voting.
Okay. Okay. Any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
7.5, approval to hire Maria Mendia as Maintenance Bus Driver Director effective January 10th, 2022.
I move to approve to hire Maria Mendia as Maintenance/Bus Driver Director effective January 10th, 2022,
Director shouldn't be in there, and I'll fix that.
Okay.
excluding the word Director.
Second.
Okay. Questions?
Okay, that was my question. She's not a director.
No, I
She's
shouldn't have
going
been
to
in there.
be a bus driver and work in maintenance.
Correct.
I didn't even see it till I read it out loud, and I'm like, what? Okay,
We were a little confused.
And
my
she's-
mistake.
Met all the requirements for, she has her CDL license and,
It's gonna be half custodian,
The custodian at Westlake's half the day.
half custodian, 4-hour custodian, 4-hour custodian.
That's insurance.
That's what we were trying to do, right? Get the people to double up.
That's
Good job.
insurance.
Good job.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
7.6, accept resignation of Esther Gunn as a school nurse at Moorhaven Middle High School effective January 14th, 2022.
I have a question. I just wanna know why she quit. What happened?
She was offered a position, much higher pay,
That we're
out of the district.
out of the district, okay. Okay,
Okay, I need a motion.
I motion.
Second.
Any other questions?
We have a replacement already?
We have
I
an
know
ad.
It's advertised.
Okay. Okay.
Anything else? All in favor? Opposed? None. 7.7, accept resignation of Susan Elliott as social studies teacher at Moorhaven Middle High School effective January 2nd, 2022.
make a motion to accept the resignation of Susan Elliott as social studies teacher at Moorhaven Middle High School effective January 2nd.
Second.
Any questions? All in
Any
favor?
I-
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Why? Any reason why?
I believe, Dr. Daly said health reasons.
Where does she live?
I have no idea. I don't even know.
I think it was in the letter, Jean.
Well, I think the letter, I don't have the letter in front of me, but I think it said she was taking a position or seeking a position closer to home.
It says, you want me to read it real quick?
Would you please?
Please accept my resignation from my position as social studies teacher at Moorhaven Middle High School. My last day will be January 2nd, 2022. Although I have enjoyed interacting with staff and students on a daily basis, due to the health concerns I have been experiencing, I have decided to find a position closer to home to help alleviate some of the symptoms I have been experiencing while commuting to campus. Thank you for the opportunity to be part of Moorhaven Middle High School family. I wish everyone the best.
So she was commuting from somewhere and she's looking for a job closer to home.
Did it say she was, did it say walking to campus or commuting?
Commuting,
Did it help?
Commuting.
no, commuting.
Got a first and second.
Any other questions?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
7.8, accept resignation of Alfonso Brown as maintenance foreman effective January 14th, 2022.
Let's no acceptance.
No, I know,
I think we have
This is the
before.
second time around.
Let's no
but I
acceptance.
thought we found a position that he could live here, stay here forever.
People will have to retire at some point.
People, Al needs to retire.
does.
I know, but what's he gonna do?
He'll
Oh,
have
he has
plenty.
plenty to keep him busy.
Work for me.
Okay.
All right, so motion and second.
I motion that we accept the resignation of Alfonso Brown.
I'll second.
Are we gonna have a party?
I think we should, just, we've already kind of celebrated him here at the boardroom, but I definitely think we need to have something for him. And just to so everyone knows, Mr. Gressett and I were talking today. Mr. Gressett spoke to Al because we might be able to utilize him as a consultant or some way to keep him, because he does our water plant, and that's so, you know, and Al was all about it too, so hopefully, you know, and he said, it, no matter what, if we need him, but I told him, I said, I want you to turn your phone off, do not answer it, because people call him, you know, at like 15 times a day, his phone will go off from people that just in the community or at the school, or, hey, my lights in my classroom aren't working. So people kind of have taken advantage of Al's good nature and flexibility in working with others, so.
So who truly is going to take his place?
It's advertised, his position's advertised, so,
I didn't see the advertisement. Has it gone out?
ma'am.
Has it been advertised? I
Oh, I
didn't
know.
see it.
I didn't see it either.
if I haven't sent it to you yet, it'll be.
I know.
Okay.
Okay,
Did it come to me?
It
Okay,
did
I just
post
haven't sent it
yesterday.
out to y'all yet, so it is posted.
okay. All right, any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Uh,
7.9, additions, approval of additions to Glades County School District guest teacher list, 21-22. One person on the list, Kellen Cooper.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
8.1, general public comments.
I like Alitra's on the top.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We can't see
You gotta do this.
I just wanted to make sure that the redistricting was sent to Tallahassee.
I don't know that.
Jackie?
It's in the paper.
Okay, we have to send a copy of the resolution to Tallahassee. I'm gonna give this to Jackie. If y'all need me for anything, y'all just let me know. That's her email address. You can put that in there, okay?
Alatris, did the county commission also pass it?
I think they passed it before we did.
Okay.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's a done deal.
Thank y'all.
Well done. Ask her.
What?
So that's a done deal then?
So that's a done deal, it's,
I think so. I thought the last time was that, but we got notification on this, and I got with Tammy, she scanned in the boards, the Board of County Commissioners, so I said, well, y'all meeting tonight, we'll come let y'all know as well. Cause I didn't know if the attorney might have already done that.
And do you have a new map to share with us?
It was on your agenda last
yeah.
time,
Yes,
but,
ma'am.
I thought they went in even after that though and straightened up a whole bunch of stuff.
That's it right there.
That might be.
I thought you said that they went in after that. Okay, then I have one
that should
home.
have been the final map.
Okay.
and then just one question, Senator Albritton, he is not going to be our senator anymore, or we don't know that?
That's, we'll have to wait till session and they'll decide on that.
Okay.
So everybody won't get new cards until after session, because we have to wait for the state rep and the Senate districts to be drawn. So around April, everyone should get their new cards. We already have the precincts done, but we don't wanna send out those cards in case they split our county, or a section of the county has a different, house representative.
So who will our representative be if it's not all written at this time? I mean,
It would be him until the end of
Right.
his term, and there is somebody that's already put their name out to run for it. But he will be in a different district, which he will
that's what
run
I'm saying,
for.
so, okay,
That's whoever wins the election,
Right,
okay.
there'll be an election.
I don't, yeah, don't like.
I forgot the
But
name.
it's a new district line that they're following, that this person will be coming from.
Right, like, right now, we're like in the Heartland area where Senator Albritton resides. My understanding, I think we're gonna go to the, East Coast. Was that your understanding?
I haven't seen the maps, and I don't know where the lady that's talking about running resides. So I was assuming West Coast, but
Okay.
I might be
Well,
wrong.
Katie mentioned a name to me the other day too, but I'm not sure.
I was gonna ask you, how did that go, your meeting with her?
Very well,
Good.
very well. So,
Thank you.
9.1, board member comments and business.
I know I've talked to you about this, but I just want to say it in the sunshine law in front of everybody. We're still waiting to get Kalinda Chapman's retro on the agenda. We've
Right,
talked
we
about
talked
it for
about it.
2 months. Hopefully, we're gonna have it on the agenda for the next meeting.
We are. I was told that it's not just her, that there's more people as well, and that was the holdup.
Correct, there's 2 other people,
Okay.
so that is gonna be on the meeting for the 20th.
Okay, so
So we can
Right.
depend on that now, right? We can, and
Yes,
we,
ma'am.
okay.
You
Yes.
say
all right.
two
As well
other
as the
people.
2% for the administrators.
okay, I know of one other person. Can I get with you and get the names
Yes,
of the other 2 people?
yes.
And I did call you all. That's what she and I.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Right. She and I did call you because there was that one and the administrators, the 2%. It was over the Christmas break, and although Jackie and I were here, you know, and Dawn was here 1 or 2 days, the figures, we didn't have the figures prepared for the meeting tonight. So I didn't feel comfortable presenting it to you all. So that's something that will be at the 20th meeting.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Anybody else have board member comments?
Well, I still wanna know what we've paid that company.
Yeah, that was supposed to be on the agenda as well.
Well, we had a couple state things we had to deal with this week
Okay.
that were.
We'll know next time, right?
Do you want to address that, Andrea, or do you want to?
I had a 4-hour conversation today with the state. They pulled in ACA. There were probably about anywhere from 15 people on the call, down to 4 people on the call. I had a legal team that was on the call, and I hope to maybe sit down and speak with Mr. McKinney, and have something well-rounded to be able to talk to you about next time.
That does not sound good.
Yeah.
That does not sound good.
We paid.
It's not bad, but it's fixable.
Okay.
Well, thank you for being on top of it. I appreciate it.
I don't see the superintendent's report on here.
We're still doing board members.
I didn't think I had one, but I do have some things.
What
Okay,
about-
so the June 9th meeting, I know we talked about changing that. Did we change the June meeting?
Not yet, but.
But we need to,
Correct,
right?
yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
And also
What
just,
meeting did we change?
Just because it's the same time as y'all's, joint conference meeting.
Right, we'll be in Tampa. Okay.
I was gonna be first and third again.
also remember that, the November, what board meeting, I don't have my calendar.
It's the
in front.
22nd. and
Oh,
it's the week of
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
We have to be here.
Everybody's gotta be here because it's the organizational meeting. I know, bye-bye.
It's the end of it.
It's the end of a term,
Except for
right?
you.
Legal magic.
So we are gonna
that's
change the
Tuesday
June
before
one, though.
Thanksgiving on Thursday.
Correct, correct.
Not a Tuesday.
It is a
Yes, the
Tuesday.
organizational meetings.
Can they, virtual in? They cannot. They can?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. I just know they were, it's based on
For that date?
after elections.
Aren't you at River Ranch for that date?
No, I'm usually at our house up in Levy County.
I think the law has reverted so that you can attend and vote, but you can't get to a quorum virtually. So it's back to that, I believe. You can't make a quorum with a virtual person or persons. So if you have a quorum here, somebody can zoom in.
I just heard that whole thing, and if one of these 3 get up and walk out,
The
that's
party's
it.
over.
You can go on, but you can't vote.
Yeah.
First Tuesday after the first month, or it has to
You
be the
have
third
to
Tuesday after the first
stop
month.
the
It's
meeting
election.
and
It
have
has
to
to be
take
like
all of
it
what
is.
Okay,
So
And it's
we'll,
what are we doing?
specific.
when we decide when our meetings are gonna be, will you do an updated list? like
Yes,
you-
ma'am, and you will eventually get them all on your calendars, but again, we've had a lot of state things going on this week that has, and then.
So
HR.
we're moving the June 9th
Yes,
one,
that
but
one.
we don't know when we're moving it
Correct.
to.
We'll get to that, correct. And then the one for November 22nd.
Right, I have that on my calendar.
Correct.
okay, anybody else?
So-
Crystal, you still working?
I think I'm good.
I'm good.
I heard today that Beth Vickery is only working part-time now. What's the deal with that?
It is a health issue and we're meeting for the next session.
Okay.
Anybody else? Board member comments? Okay, we're gonna add the superintendent
Yep.
report in now.
So I'm very excited to announce that in my hand, both my hands here, I am holding the strategic plan.
Oh, good.
And I'm holding Hendry County strategic plan, and I'm holding Hardy County strategic plan, just looking. It looks really good. There's a lot of stuff we're still working on. It should be completed I hope to have my final, edits to him. There's like a couple of things, like this is one of the pages, and I didn't like the color. I said, what's the yellow? And so, and we were on a call today, the directors, and, so one of the other counties said, yeah, it's on ours too. So it's like little things like this, because we know that a lot of money was put into this, and we want to make sure it's a perfect product, so.
I thought it was a school bus.
I was gonna say, I thought it was a bus whenever I saw
Oh,
it.
It is.
It is a school bus.
It is a
Wheels
school
and
bus.
all.
yeah, but it's, look, it's on all,
Every picture they gave us school
Oh,
colors.
yeah.
they
Oh,
all
I
black.
see.
so it's on
Every
all of
picture
them.
in black
Yeah,
and white.
that's.
But like, for example, like my letter from the superintendent, like you guys, so you're gonna have a different page, and anyway, just some little things that we can do to make it look nicer, and, our directors have worked hard and sat through a lot of, online virtual, meetings. So one thing today that we did, we went and this was Hendry, Hardy, our, Glades, and I don't know what other county was on there. DeSoto. One thing that we did was what do we do with this? Because okay, I'm gonna be able to hand you a really pretty package and say here's a strategic plan. But if I just hand it to you, I could have made it in my office and given it to you, and I could have saved you $15,000. But what do we do now with this? Like, how do we, make sure that what our strategic plan is what we as a school board and superintendent use to steer the course? So, there's goals, and how do we get to those goals? And the strategic plan was developed by the directors and by community input, and so it's very thorough. There's some really good information in it, and one of the things that I enjoyed, I asked her to send me what the other, and I had already seen Okeechobee counties and Highlands County, so I asked her to send me the other two, and so it was really interesting to see kind of what their goals and vision are versus what ours are, and to see that we're all, especially in the Heartland Consortium, we're all looking at the same, roadblock. So, but hopefully we can meet that. So that's that, and hopefully by, I'm not gonna say next meeting, but within a month, I hope to have you a nice strategic plan. In my possession also, we have the Human Resource Management and Development Program, which our administrators are going to be going through. In order to have principal placed on your certificate, there are things that you have to do, or to be an assistant principal, there are certain things that you need to do. And so basically, we have a plan that we are going to have our administrators follow. We've got to grow more leaders. We have to grow principals. So, we have APs. We have 5 APs right now that need to be preparing themselves to become principals, because Doreen, Miss Mel, and Dr. Daly aren't going to be there forever. So we need to make sure that we have replacements for them and I'm not trying to get rid of any of them, but when the time comes that we do have somebody. And, there has not been evaluations in our district for many years. And so this coming Monday, our administrators are going to be going through, they're going to get shared with them the rubrics for how they will be evaluated. We did contact Tallahassee, and we have an approved method. And so moving forward, we feel confident that when the 3 principals step down, that we'll have, APs ready in the wings. And we have great APs. As case in point, we have 2 right here with us tonight. So, then the graduation rate came out. We took a significant drop. And I will pass this to you. So our graduation rate went from a 89.6 to a 78.5%, which is the second highest or second lowest in the state. Obviously, that's not something we're excited about. When we further looked into the data, and broke it down by, demographics, there was some very telltale reasons for that. And then I broke it down further. 9 of these 13 kids dropped in 2018 and 2019. And if they drop or they go into adult education, that counts against us. Go into an adult ed counts against your graduation rate. If a student, there's a whole list, and most of these just dropped. We were able to locate most of them. That's not the case, so we know where the kids are, but either they went and tried to go and take their GED, and if they take their GED, that does count against us. So, we have a plan,
When
ma'am.
did that change? Because as long as we're in continued education, not a dropout, it didn't really.
Yeah, it's been a while.
12, 13, they got real strict on it with national, the federal stuff. Around 12, 13, they basically said, there's like, anything you do, except graduated kids, is gonna count against you.
Well,
And
I
it
knew-
softened some of that, but not much of it.
I knew
Still
that a
there.
lot of the drops, but then whenever we were able to trace them and find out that they were continuing their education someplace else, it helped too, so.
Yeah, that's the thing, is if they go to another district or another school, and they pick them up, then we're okay.
As long as we
But
can
if
trace
they
them.
never go back to school, and COVID hit, right, those 2
Yep.
years. So a lot of kids dropped out, but left out in the school system, and just never came back.
Okay.
And then they kind of got you because they didn't graduate in the 4 years.
Which, the pressure's on, obviously, to bring that way up, and I think we can do it. We've already started. I've got the list already that we have for this year, and it's, I feel like we can do it. Now, we do have, this is a kind of startling statistic, but, out of 53 seniors, only 23 right now have what they need to graduate.
Only what?
23. They're either missing their FSA scores, or they have not passed, their GPA isn't high enough to graduate.
The majority are ELA, FSA schools. Out of those 23 that are possibly not eligible, the bulk of them are FSA schools. So that's why we were trying to get concordance scores from SAT. We added in ACT in the second spring, trying a different test. Anything we can try and do and get a concordance score in there to help them out. It's another opportunity to try and get that passing score for graduation. Yeah, we hesitate.
You did boot camps in the past.
Oh, we're doing all that.
Yeah.
We're doing boot
Help
camp,
out.
we're doing, teachers are doing study sessions. We've got, Dr. Daly's just telling me today, he's putting mentors with, groups of kids trying to work one-on-one. I mean, they're doing an academic intervention time at the high school where he took off, I wanna say 4 minutes, or maybe, I don't know that that's correct, but about 4 minutes, 5 minutes off of each period, and at the beginning of the day, they do an intervention plan, working on the power standards. So, I mean, the staff is really trying. I mean, it's not for lack of trying.
The hardest it's gonna be, we're still gonna have the COVID gap, and they're probably not gonna do the waiver for the testing like they've done for the last 2 years. This time, they're gonna count. And we have to make up that COVID gap too, in addition to any kind of deficits they've had over the years. So, it's an uphill battle. I mean, I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything, but it's an uphill battle. And since our graduating class is 50 some odd kids versus 300, 400, every
It
kid,
affects us,
1.5%,
every kid matters.
2%, it's, every kid that doesn't graduate is a drop.
Yep.
It's 1 point, what was the percentage?
1.7.
1.7.
Last year was 1.5 per kid.
And this year it was 1.7, so every kid that in our senior class counts 1.7%, because I actually was gonna try to not argue, but fight, some of these, there's a situation on a group of students here that I think that we have a pretty good, but, I mean, even if just the 5 kids, that would bring her up to where we were last year, but it's not gonna happen, so. But on a good note, I also gave you in your packet an email from Monique Moss that she sent me today.
Here it is.
this for? I didn't ask for a copy. You want to share with me? So, there are 36 students currently taking college courses. 35 of those students are in our collegiate academy. There are 2 seniors that just joined this fall. And this is the part that I feel is very, this is a success story. Of the 36 students, 18 are seniors, 14 are on track to graduate with their AA. Last year, we had 1 senior graduate with her AA, so that's huge. Of the 36 students, 17 are juniors. We have 1 senior, because we had 2 seniors, but now we only have 1 because 1 finally passed. But we have 1 senior and 4 juniors that need to pass the reading FSA, so they're not on track for graduation. The results from the fall grades, and you can read those. Environmental science, 100% of our students passed. Statistics, 100% passed. 93% for humanities, only 1 student did not pass. 93% for speech, 1 student did not pass. 100% of government passed. 89% in Comp 1, 2 students did not pass. Cornerstone, 100%. Psychology, 100. Physiology, so 100%. Intermediate algebra, 94%. Only 1 student did not pass. And then they removed 2 seniors from the program due to a low GPA rate for the courses. So that is going to be huge for our seniors. They're graduating with an AA degree. But I feel like also our nursing program is really popular, and we have a lot of kids that are very interested in that and the nursing program. Ms. Atkinson is doing a phenomenal job, and Mr. Sharp also. He's very hard worker, and so we're moving right along in that direction. We had our first group of E911 program completers. So those people, I want to say they graduated 6 or 7. I'm not sure of the amount, the 6 or 7. And they are ready to go out and get their jobs. And that was at no cost to them. So
And that was only 1 semester? And
for
then
that class, and it's for our adult school, but we are going to be running another class coming up.
Dr. Barfield, what's
Yes.
gonna happen to those 2 kids that was removed?
So, well, I'm sure, well, they were removed from the collegiate program. They'll be, I'm sure, taught, the Ms. Moss, as well as, the guidance counselors at the high school will probably do a lot of counseling with them to try to get them to get motivated, because they have good school, grades as far as their classes in school, but not in college. So I think they're just really gonna do a lot of trying to convince them to not, give up. But I can tell you that the students are very motivated. They want the semester to be over and they can graduate, so.
I'll just say, being involved in the collegiate program at Hendry, this is comparable to what happened with them. And they've been running theirs for about 5 years, so this is good.
I also talked with Laura Perry, and I believe our accreditation is ahead of schedule. So I'm hoping that we will be fully accredited here shortly. That doesn't have anything to do with our accreditation for the schools. That's FSW's accrediting our collegiate academy. That's it.
Anything else? Okay. And information items, I think anybody have any information? Okay.
What about y'all?
Oh, yeah, barbecue tickets, thank you. Are for sale, $10 each. We'll deliver, or you can pick up. Dr. Barfield's going to allow her staff to help deliver, those of you that work here. It's the 14th, January 14th. And you could purchase your tickets from Shyla at the high school. All the schools have a designated salesperson. Miss Thigpen is doing yours, and Miss Shear's doing the elementary. So it's to raise money for the Moorhaven High School Scholarship Organization, so that every graduating senior gets a scholarship. that has a 2.0. And we've got, enough in reserves that we're paying 2 years of scholarships now. So it's a very worthy cause. It's a half of a chicken. It's macaroni and cheese and baked beans and rolls,
It's $10.
$10 each.
So if I give you $50 and buy 5 tickets, you can have it delivered to somebody who needs it.
We will be delivering.
I used to do it in here, and then Scott knew other people that really needed the meal.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Checks will be accepted.
Yeah.
You can also pay by texting the word give to the number on our flyer. So we're
Well,
trying that
that's
out this
good.
year to see if it, so far, no one has bought a ticket that way, so.
Well, that's how I'll be buying mine, cause I never have
Good.
checks. Okay,
Good. Let me get the number for you.
Okay. Anything else? I'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everyone.
I guess Fred didn't get my computer fixed, he never brought it back.